Your next D&D NPC, brought to you proudly and sponsored by none other than your main man, quintessential deity of RPG. Get that right, Jack. Now for the attack. We're going to talk about my main man from Flan. You understand what I'm saying? The Council of 10 of Flan. Now, this is Margrave Hawthorne SIlversun. Now, in my current AD&D campaign, this individual has come to occupy that time. And we're going further to the north of Flan, into the mountains. This man has an extremely valuable silver mine, which is flowing money into his family and has done so now for 3 to 4 generations, depending if you look at his. Let's take a look at the family tree of this man, of your next NPC family tree. Now, quintessentially, let us speak first of the face claim, the image used for this man. It's going to be none other than the bat out of hell himself, Meatloaf. And in my game, Meatloaf, Hawthorne SIlversun plays the Margrave, and his children, one of whom is the one of the player characters, Balthazar SIlversun. So we're talking 4 generations. The family tree starts with Amaris and Alicia. Now there is mystery surrounding this family, so just drop it right in. We got a whole family tree right here, baby. Drop it right into your game. That's what you do. Pluck and play and drop. And it can be, doesn't have to be in Flan, doesn't have to be in the Forgotten Realms. Bring it and put it wherever you need. Put it in Greyhawk. Put it in your home world. Put it in Dragonlance. Fuck the bullshit. Put it in Dark Sun. This motherfucker is a Meatloaf. He's opulent as a bitch. And if you don't think so, you better start to recognize and learn with your own mind just the way it is. And just the way it always will be. That's what's important, Jack. So get on that. So, to put down a family tree for you. And this individual, Margrave. So, we have Amaris, who is a person that was essentially a lawyer in Flan, of no real reputation, of no particular great barrister ability, and all of a sudden becomes the proprietor and owner of what was thought to be a barren, useless area that now becomes an extreme and important and powerful silver mine. And it flows like blood, it flows like water out of this mine, the silver, and this family becomes very prominent, becomes very wealthy, the wealthiest family in the area, and that allows them political ascendance, allows them to become the Margrave, the ruler of this outer area, and a member of the Council of Flan of 10, if you will, or even if you won't, they don't really care. So, secretly, this family, with Amaris and Alicia, a deal is struck with the devil Moloch. And Moloch has become patron to this family. So their family symbol is a black Anarok, this black bull, and this silver background, this silver outline. And they even have these 2 magical silver swords that are given to his first 2, or that are given to Amaris's 2 sons. I use a face claim of Bob Dole for Amaris, and the line here really works well. So you have all these images in the house. We have this ancient manor house in which Hawthorne lives. And we can talk about the dust motes. We can talk about the banisters. Just something straight out of a Meatloaf video. The tapestries. All of this fantastic gothic fantasy, shades of horror look inside there. The banister, the paintings, the tapestry, the fucking boss reliefs, fuck the bullshit, it's all there. And we have these 2 twin silver swords that are etched, that have this beautiful look. And they are magically reinforced silver, and they have themselves quite a bit of power. And they're 2 different swords, and they do different things, and they're with different people. And they are the swords of Blackwell and Gregor, the 2 sons of Amaris that go forth and to be founding to this family. Blackwell is the father of Hawthorne SIlversun, the character in which we are examining in this particular video. Now, I think it's important to give some family resonance, particularly where it's important. We're talking about heraldry. And there is heraldry in the game. Let me try to describe. We actually have a picture here for the heraldic symbol. It is a big black Anarok bull with 2 short swords behind it, two broadswords behind it, and like a black triangle behind it, and then there is above it. Well, it's complex. I don't know. I probably just use a picture of Meatloaf at the beginning of the video because that's really the character we're discussing, not just the family, but a heraldic symbol with the swords and with the black bull. And the bull represents Moloch, right? And that's not known. Even while some people do, Hawthorne only knows rituals. He knows this blood magic. He knows these things that he's been taught by progenitors of the line, but he doesn't really know the full of it. Now, what has been offered was the one the one daughter of the bloodline who will become eventually, this extremely important. And I don't want to ruin everything because my players are still dealing with this in the game and they're loving it. So this one daughter of the line who's to become this extremely important piece, this extremely important entity in the bloodline of the SIlversuns. But otherwise, the women they're tested early on by Moloch, and when he finds them unworthy, he destroys them. So Maris also has Mary, who is a daughter, and she dies at birth. So we have a lot of young births, and they're kind of like, even though they may have died some days after, someone like, oh, as a stillborn, but that's not true. So that's that. But that's the lore put into the family to sow disinformation to those that will come after, because they know they have to keep this secret hidden, and the family itself doesn't fully know the sins of the father, the sins of Maris that are put in place. The devil's deal struck for silver, and a well of silver that runs from the heart blood of the earth, which really allows for a great story of corruption and of abundance and of wealth and of opulence. But what cost was it born? So first, it's going to be the who would have been his aunt Mary dies. Now there is Blackwell's line. Blackwell and his wife give birth to Hawthorne and Elizabeth. Elizabeth, again, she also perishes during childbirth. She does not meet the examinations of the unclean spirit Moloch, who comes and looks and takes that child sacrifice, as is his wont and his right. For she does not live up to the worthiness of the blood to be the woman who is going to ultimately be the one. And once he finds that woman, then he is no longer particularly interested. So we see a change in this dynamic. So it's sinister, it's dark, it's gruesome, and it's something that's not laid out right in front of the players. They can kind of start digging into, those knowledge is local, those knowledge is ancient. Those sort of things can really be very interesting when they start to dig into knowledge and abilities, or depending on your game, whatever. All can sort of apply when they start going down into the crypt and inside the mountain, and the home, the ancient manor house, is carved right inside the mountain, and it's old at this point. At the point that the players are going to start interacting with it, we're talking about something that's probably 70 years old, because Hawthorne himself is about 50 or so. So we're talking 70, maybe even closer to not 100, but maybe 90 years old, something like that. So there's a bit of age on it, right? There's a bit of dust in it. There's servants there, and then there's the miners down in the mine, and that man is cracking a whip on that back because we got to get that silver coin, and it's a rough life, the miner's life, and they're always abundant silver, and they're digging deep in the ground. And at that point, that's when they find the birthing chambers, the horrid things, the devils, and so forth, as they come around closer, as she who will name momentarily produces the ability to bring that forth. So then we go into the line of Gregor. So these are the cousins of Hawthorne, and they're going to be there. They're going to be in lower stations, yet still themselves possessing lordly titles. Vincent, and I used the face claim of Woody Harrelson, at about 50 or so, looking really sinister, looking like a very villainous Woody Harrelson. So that can be put over, and this character is going to have the occult knowledges. He's going to have the sciences of the fucking mysticism itself behind him, and he's going to be highly astute, highly intelligent, and dealing in a way with people that, oh yeah, but he can also be a font for producing some uh, magics and allowing players to learn, lower first, second level spells, things like that. Corbin, who I used Batista, the WWE wrestler, for. Now, Vincent has no children. Vincent is a bit more astute and a bit more knows what's going on than Hawthorne or Corbin. Now, also, Vincent and Corbin had a sister named Scarlet, who was also, a sacrifice at birth. Corbin has multiple children: Jasper, Jet, Xenophon, Marvin, uh, Shauna, Charlotte, and Kelly. The three girls all alive, and they because they have not been yet sacrificed. They were not tried by the trial of Moloch. They were all younger than the daughters of Hawthorne. Hawthorne has one son, Balthazar, who's a player character, right? But then he also has Raven, Robin, and Lark. And Raven is the one, right? So she is quintessentially important to the game. But all that is just really to go through and to talk about a family lineage, a line, to make a heraldic symbol, and then to build a background of a family. And as you might notice, the individuals that aren't actually part of the family, who didn't come in by blood, we didn't talk too much about them. And I have some of those outlined as well, but they're irrelevant because it's all about the family, all about the family that's destined with Moloch. And an individual that's a part of not a cult, but a bargain, a sins of the father painted upon him, sins of the grandfather, if you will. And how does that man cope with that? Well, the character Hawthorne SIlversun has been born in luxury, a silver spoon in his mouth, silver everything. And the family, they hate copper, they hate gold. These are inferior things. Silver is the lifeblood of the world and should be respected and valued above all. There are silver candelabras, plates, of course, the two silver swords of extreme magical powers who are invested there by, of course, you guessed it, and these individuals, all about him. But we're talking Meatloaf, so we're talking what? We're talking dual class. This is an AD&D character, but in 3.5 you can simply add classes and classes. He's a fighter slash bard. He is an expert with the specialization gimmick on the broadsword, on the silver sword, which he has bequeathed to his son, Balthazar, at the start of my game, at any rate. However, he is also a bard. He's a Meatloaf. Of course he is. Epic level bard. Bard of the beyond the 20th level itself. And you could put all sorts of PRCs or whatever you want on a character like that. The character should be commanding, and he has a presence that electrifies a room. And if if he wants, I kind of give him a special ability where he kind of controls the energy in a room. You ever been in a room and felt the energy? It's bad or it's good. He can light the place up or turn it off or make you scared as fuck, and whatever he wants. He's just this extreme aura that exudes off of him. He's special. He's dynamic. He's incredible, and he has that artist soul, so he can change. He can be moody. He can be brooding and off and quiet into himself, and then he can be the life of the party. And they got a huge ballroom in there, so nobles and other individuals from some days away will make journeys, and there'll be enormous balls at various birthday events and various other fantastic festival day celebrations, and even brought about a Moon Seas region games, which even feasted upon Xenokete there to bring about a sort of small Olympic event. And we can have the individual out there. He loves to hunt, so that's a characteristic of the character, right? He lives on an ancient mansion on a mountain on a silver mine, and then there are trees, woods not that far from him. He loves to go boar hunting, deer hunting, any type of hunting with his trusty short bow, to which he is well proficient. But the man is also well skilled with the sword of silver, that broadsword. He cares not for anything other than the finery of fencing. But he is a composer of poetry, of prose. He's a writer. He has luxurious libraries and tapestries and chairs of fine Calimport make or exotic Qatarian design. The man reads many languages. He's intellectual. He's capable of having a conversation, but he has a voice that booms through the room. And I designed him. I said, I really want to have sort of a Jabba's palace. I want to have a Rancor, and I want to put it right here. So we have Meatloaf, Hawthorne SIlversun on his throne in his chamber, and then you can hear the sound of down below this barred iron gate in the floor. And then we show off with a prisoner, a thief, a hobbit from Flan who attempted to steal from him, who was apprehended by his men, and he has a bodyguard by the name of Karn, because that's a good name for all ogres. And this is a half ogre played by none other than fucking Nikita Koloff. Hayosea, Mardeva, SIlversun, Astra, Sitinu, Australia, with the spire sickle in my guye. So he's an ogre, he's a bodyguard, and he's his man's man, and he's got his back because he knows that this man is silver. This man is the straightness. This man is going to get him where he wants to go. And this man's charisma has enchanted this 9-foot fucking tall half ogre who's big and bad and beats that ass just the way it always needs to be beat. And he's got a hold of this little hobbit girl. So it's a sort of scene to show that this guy who's generally smiling, glad-handing, talking, loving, showing his respect, his love for his family, also has that brutal side. You tried to steal from me, bitch. Into the pit you go. And one of the player characters almost got thrown in the pit as well for Austin's fucking blasphemous tactics. That's right, Bird Donk. Your tactics nearly got you thrown in the pit, as he was playing a spy type character, and he is being employed by Vincent, who's trying to spy and do surveillance on his own cousin. They're on the same property, Hawthorne, SIlversun, and he has encountered Hawthorne. In that very much Meatloaf sort of tradition, has a dead wife, Gwen, who is played by what's the name of the actress? The one's in Thelma and Louise. Not Susan Sarandon, the other one, Gina Davis. Gina Davis. So we have Gina Davis paired with Meatloaf, and she's died, and we find her, and she's in this silver mirror, and he sees as he goes in there, he's scouting around inside Hawthorne's room. He's made all the fucking checks, and one of the other player characters is actually trying to actually fuck on him, right? Because he has been employed into the house, and that's his intro. Frank's character, Lucas, his intro is to come into the house and be like, you know, trying to get up with Karn, trying to be on that bodyguard tip, because they got that man out of the Flan jails themselves, and he don't want to be there with the water dripping on his head and the cockroaches and the howls of anguish inside of Flan's jail. Flan, a city that's been there for 1,000 years. Fuck the bullshit. I'm talking about Flan, son. So we have this extreme aspect of man with passion, especially when we're roleplay a character who's just passionate. He's artistic. He's moody. He can be a dick. He can be the life of the party. He can be alive, and you can look at him, and everybody at the room is concentrating on him and just think, wow, what grandeur in silver lace. The man has his positions. He has his ideals of which you shan't turn him from, and you should be turned to his ideas more than likely, for his charisma is excellent, opulent, and ballerer than a mug. So that's just the way that he's going to be. He's fucking Meatloaf, son. And that opens up all kinds of music. I love to play music during the game, so that brings it's all there. And the players have brought in many Meatloaf songs for their own soliloquies. There are astronomical numbers of good Meatloaf songs. I am a huge fan of Meatloaf, and I have heard every single song that he has recorded, and a lot of them suck, but there are so many incredible songs, and not just on Battle to Hell 1, 2, and 3, but on some of his other like non-Jens Diamond albums as well. There's great stuff. Man of Steel, definitely a song that's been played. Not a Dry Eye in the House. I'd Lie for You, and That's the Truth. The Rubber Hits the Road, and so many more songs from this character. And of course, with a gallows, then you can just bring in all the wonderful various NPCs. We're bringing in Ronnie James Dio or Jesse Ventura, whoever it is, to play the other lords, the other members of the Council of Ten, the other influence, the luminaries of Mulmaster, of fucking Elven Tree, of any sort of place that you might want to have in the vicinity, in the region, or any other individuals that hold land or so forth. And what about that man? The Prince Radu. The players don't know, but the Prince Radu, face claim of the ravishing one, Rick Rude, he's involved in the action. And this man here, grace, poise, etiquette, style, and the kind of man who has that charisma level to create an Olympic game that features every single city-state of the northern environs, from Hillsfar to Mulmaster to Zenzel Keep to Flan, and stations that are often at war with one another, but just bringing together, where I can sort of showcase Fazal Chimbrel off there in the distance. He wants to prove the superiority through athleticism of Zenzel Keep. Before I go, it's like, no. I mean, We did, after all, have Nazis in the Olympics, right? This is not far-fetched. This is not ridiculous. These are the type of things that can really happen in a state, in a place, to show off the cultures without having to rah, 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 rah. It doesn't have to always be like that. What about the times when it isn't? What about those quiet times? What about those times of peace in between war? What about those times when people are thinking, looking at the board and trying to figure out their next moves? And getting out there and being able to do quite easy surveillance for themselves. So it created a great thing. The games, and I created this character, this scene is sort of like a one game, maybe two game backdrop. And I almost thought about canceling the whole Planescape nature of it because the players loved, particularly this character and a lot of the other adjoining characters of the family, so much that I could see they didn't want to get ripped off. So I added more sessions in the beginning to give them a longer baseline for the game until we started Planescape and just make them think perhaps we were just playing Forgotten Realms, which is what they, of course, had signed up for and what they thought they were doing until I did the double switcheroo and off we went into the fucking hives of devilness. So we have a tragic character. You can imagine the guy out there looking forlorn. His wife is dead. His line is tainted. There's violence. There's hatred between his children. There's spite and envy, jealousy. You have Raven, who hates Balthazar. Balthazar is the male heir. He's stealing her right. She is the eldest, and she knows that she is the one who is chosen by Moloch. She is the one who carries the actual secret weight of the family. She is the one that's important. She is the one to carry the family into their next stage, their next generation, the power that's unlocked by a devil himself to this girl. And this usurper Balthazar has the audacity to attempt to claim what is hers, and her fool of a father allows it. But she loves her father. She loves her father so much. She wants her father to be proud of her. She wants her father to throw him aside, to hand her the silver sword, to hand her his endorsement, to hand her his legacy. But I won't do that. And I go up there. And I say, boy, you need to understand. You need to understand when we talking about rivers of silver and the shine of luster. Oh, boy. Oh, my boy. We must have ourselves placed in proper position here upon the gossamer of the waters, dark as they are of the moon, the sea, and how they drench out to an infinity like a coiled leviathan beneath the waves. Oh, boy, why can't you just give it all up for your family, for your SIlversun legacy? For silver is the life's blood of this world. It is what makes every man run as hard as he can and makes every woman weak in her knees. Oh, girl, I see you there. I see you again. And what is that I hear stirring in the secrets of the night? Oh, the fluttering of bat wings. The fluttering of those bat wings. So I get in there and I really just ham it up and I get into the Meatloaf voice and I bring it all and I bring the passion and I bring the loud, the boisterousness, the boomingness. This man will command the stage. This man will sit back and brood in his chambers. This man will disappear and all of a sudden be there right in front of everything. The spectacle, the audience's attention is drawn to him. He is a star unlike any other with charisma to spare, and he is flawed to his core. And it gives the players a great sort of character to interact with at this extreme level of luxury. This guy is damn near a king. And he has that deep core inside him of sadness that comes waffling out at times. But he also has a great love for life, for wine, for women, for the other things. And oh yes, he has himself a mistress at this time, a beautiful, beautiful mistress. And what are her goals? What are her agendas and her repetendums, if you will, baby? Who knows? Maybe you do. And this is a wonderful character that you can take and drop right into any game setting that has any degree or decor of standard fantasy. It could also be just dropped into something essentially historic piece, a Vampire the Masquerade game. Hawthorne SIlversun is certainly a character that you could have there as a member of Clan Toreador, as a member of Clan Tremere, as a member of Clan Ventru, as a member of Clan Zimise, as a member of Clan La Sombra. Any of those clans would well fit him well easily. Hell, you could make the man Bruja. So he fits a lot of ways. An opulent grand house, a silver mine, a mystery, a family of extreme importance that came out of nowhere, and nothing can seem to be found before Aramis. Nothing. As if all memories have been struck and driven away. And what noble beginnings must this common barrister, who barely got by on bread and cheap wine, what common beginnings are obscured there, and what of the deal made with Moloch? And all of these things provide a great seedbed, really for the campaign that I'm running. And trust me, if you can get a game off that's a fifth as good as how this game's been going, you're going to be real fucking lucky. You're going to be real happy. Your players are going to fucking love you and think you're the genius of all RPG time. So think about it. Think about a character like this. Think about how this can be interjected into the DNA of your game design. And remember, this is a man who will do anything for love.